Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick shop update and show you some of the things that are going on right now. We've got a few new pieces of equipment to talk about, as well as some tables in progress. And yeah, so I'll just walk around and show you. First new piece of equipment, got a Lincoln square wave TIG 175 set up. It's been a lot of fun learning how to TIG weld. It's a big learning curve for me, but I think this is going to help with some detail work on the steel frames, and I'm hopeful to do some aluminum in the future as well, and that should definitely help out with that. Here is a little walnut live edge, or sorry, maple. There's a little maple live edge piece that is heading out of the shop on Thursday, a couple days from now. And I've got a few frames going. This is a frame to replace someone else's existing frame on a table that they have. They're not happy with the current frame. And that's actually become more of a common thing, doing just frames for people, kind of mixed in. It's been maybe one or two a month here and there, but I kind of enjoy doing those. Another new addition to the shop, you can see this big stack of walnut back here. I had the chance to buy a lot of walnut at once. This stuff will probably have to sit through the winter, but I think it's going to be nice. A lot of these pieces on the bottom are a good size for doing like a desk or a coffee table. They're a little smaller. They're a little smaller than I would do for a dining table probably. So those are mostly going to be desks and coffee tables. The top section that you see, these are all book matched. Most of these are book matched. There's a few non-book matched ones. This top one is a walnut cookie from a job I'm doing now. This is the matching pair. I only needed one for the job, so that one's going to sit waiting to be another coffee table. Let's see what else here. Another new piece of equipment. So I bring this around. This is a Northfield 12-inch joiner. I am actually making a guard for this, so this is not going to be run for very long without the guard. The guard that was on there was not made very well, so. This machine has been converted to run on these pillow blocks. When I got it, I brought this to a machine shop and had the top of this pillow block knocked off and then a few more bolts added here. Just because the way it was set up, it had 3 bolts before, and you couldn't run a piece bigger than 12 inches across because it would hit the casting. So this seems to be working pretty well. I've got an issue with the fence. I've tuned this in once. I've set the joiner up once, and I'd say it's about 90% of the way there. There's probably a little more tweaking that I have to do. I'm hoping to be able to get this to the point where I'd like to be able to clean up the edge from a track saw cut when I do a live edge table. That's kind of the hope. I didn't use it for the 2 tables I'll show you today just because the fence is giving me a little bit of an issue. Essentially what's going on is I can get the fence trued up to the infeed table, but it appears as though this fence has developed a twist. This machine's from, I think I said 1924, I think, or 24 to 26. Northfield gave me a serial number for it, and they kind of confirmed what era it was from. Obviously, somebody's added a single-phase motor, which is kind of nice. But what's going on with this fence is you've got some adjustability here with this stop, and this will help pull out a little bit of the twist on this side, just if you you get it set to 90, you lock it in. You've got adjustability back and forth here with these bolts, but in terms of getting this to not have like this is not going to show up on camera, but when you hold the straight edge up to it, this end and that end, when you sight down it, and there's 2 of them, the gap that you're seeing is showing kind of a twist. So that's a little disappointing. It's not going to keep me from surfacing lumber on here. It will make getting a straight edge kind of challenging. I can always use the track saw. I can have a jig on the table saw. I'd really like to get this sorted out, so I just kind of got this up and running today and ran the first batch of lumber through it, so I'm going to have to think about how I want to sort out this fence. It might be the case that I try and find another fence. I might just try and see if I can get something potentially machined to fit with this pattern. Obviously this is a cast piece, but an extruded piece of aluminum might be able to be mounted to this existing mechanism. So if anybody has any ideas on how to deal with that, if they've ever seen a twisted fence before on a joiner, let me know. I'm open to some suggestions on that. This is a 2-knife cutter head, but the finish, I'll show you. I just did the first. This is a set of quarter sawn walnut boards for like a bar top table. And it leaves a pretty nice finish for just being a 2-knife cutter head. I'm going to run these through the planer and completely clean them up, but this is kind of what I'm looking to be able to do. I had the 8-inch joiner before that I sold. It was a great joiner. I think that having a 12-inch capacity is going to be nice. I don't mill a ton of lumber, but I'm really hoping to be able to dial it in for cleaning up track stock cut, like I said, and also just being able to mill lumber when I get it from sawmill where it's rough cut versus getting it surface both sides, straight line one edge. So anyway, I also like getting walnut from this sawmill because the color is really good. This is not steamed walnut, so the color is going to be a little, in my opinion, the color is going to be a little more interesting than getting steamed walnut. Here's a frame here for an entryway table. I need the gussets welded on that. And then this is a dining table frame. This is also a job that's replacing someone else's existing base that they're not happy with. So that one and this one and the one over there on the welding table are hopefully getting sprayed this week. The other 2 jobs that are going right now in the shop, there's a few over at the booth, but these are the other ones I can show you. This is a book match set of 10-quarter walnut slabs. I just started doing the epoxy on these. It's going to be a nice set, actually. This is going to be another bar height table. And then here's another book match set. This one's a little larger. But both of these, I really like both of these sets, actually. I kind of like how this one has a nice consistent shape to it. And this one does as well. A lot of times when you do live edge, you end up with a taper where you've got wider at where the base of the tree was and it tapers up. But it's kind of nice having a set that's fairly consistent in terms of the width of the table. So that's probably the biggest update. Oh, for everyone that I've gotten a bunch of comments in the past about why am I using an auto body DA to sand the tabletops and why don't I have a vacuum sander. I did break down and switch to using a Mirka sander. This will just run off of any shop vac, and I would say this is getting about 90% of the dust at the source. And the Mirka sandpaper is not bad either. So I've made that switch. It has made a pretty big difference. The shop's a pretty big mess right now, but a majority of that is from running the router and stuff like that, and not from sanding. So a lot of the fine dust is starting to get eliminated from the shop, which is really nice, because I was starting to feel like just whenever you walked out here and you were welding or doing something else, it was kind of like one of those things where if everything's covered in fine dust, every time you move something, you're breathing that in. So I wear a mask whenever I'm sanding, but it's nice to start to eliminate more of that fine dust in the shop. The heavier chips from routing or whatever, I can sweep those things up. I can vacuum the shop and do that every so often. But the fine dust just seems like something that I'm paying more attention to trying to eliminate that kind of thing. So the only other thing I wanted to mention is I also got this contour from Eastwood. I talked to Gary, Turbo Cobra, or Ramsey Customs. I still think of it as Turbo Cobra. And he said that he was pretty happy with his. I will say that I'm also, it's been great actually. It's been a really nice machine to have, or a tool to have. And the cartridges are a little expensive, I would agree to that, but being able to finish out a weld, just using a flap disc is one thing and then jump into a DA, but I think this really helps with blending in a weld, and I also kind of like it for cleaning up surface rust from the steel yard I wouldn't use it to remove a ton of surface rust. I'd probably go flap disc and then the contour. But the nice thing is if you're running an 80 grit drum, the scratch pattern is pretty much going to disappear. At least it's going to disappear pretty quickly. And especially if you came back and hit it with a Scotch-Brite wheel and then you were going to spray the frame or something like that, you're not going to have to deal with a bunch of sand scratches that are going to show through on a frame. So let me see, just looking around to see if there's anything else that I can show. I don't have any pictures of what's in the booth right now, but maybe I'll shoot the next video over at the booth. It's been really nice having that and kind of dialing that in. I'm starting to use a 2K water-based product, so maybe I'll talk a little bit about that for spraying the tables. But I think that's it for now. Just wanted to do a quick update. Anybody that doesn't know, Fireball tools, these squares, these are amazing. I actually wish I had the other sizes as well. I'll probably get those eventually. These have been really, really nice though for doing frames and that kind of thing. So, all right, well I think that's everything. Thanks for watching.